Hi everyone, welcome to today's satsang. I'll start reading the schedule. So today we'll start with the song by Anonymous, Chitti Na Koi Sandesh. It means there are no letters nor messages from you. It seems the singer is complaining to the master. And next we will have a talk by Michael. Then we might have a song from Bhavani. And then we will have a talk by Tina Dillon on Japji Sahib. After that, we will have a short Dhyan session. Then we will listen to Ishwarji's talk. And then we will all do a group meditation with love and devotion. Thank you. Now we will start with the song by Anonymous.
चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। एक आह भरी होगी, हमने न सुनी होगी, जाते जाते तुमने आवाज तो दी होगी। एक आह भरी होगी, हमने न सुनी होगी, जाते जाते तुमने आवाज तो दी होगी। हर वक्त यही है गम, उस वक्त कहाँ थे हम, कहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। हर चीज पे अश्कों से लिखा है तुम्हारा नाम, ये रस्ते घर गलियां तुम्हें कर ना सके सलाम। हाय दिल में रह गई बात, जल्दी से छुड़ा कर हाथ, कहाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। अब यादों के कांटे इस दिल में चुभते हैं, ना दर्द ठहरता है, ना आंसू रुकते हैं। तुम्हें ढूंढ रहा है प्यार, हम कैसे करें इकरार कि हाँ तुम चले गए। चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए, जहाँ तुम चले गए। इस दिल पे लगा के ठेस, जाने वो कौन सा देश जहाँ तुम चले गए। हो जहाँ तुम चले गए।
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to satsang. I'm doing satsang from my phone because the electric company cut the electricity today. They are doing some work, so I'm doing it from my phone. I just wanted to let you know. And then I wanted to let you know also that Eva, she for the next 2 weeks she has work and she might be working like longer hours, so she might not be able to read the schedule, but she will read it when she's not working, and hopefully Master will bring her back and full time soon, because we all look forward for her reading the schedule. She is a very precious part of daily satsang. So, Anonymous, wow, your voice is just melting us. Your voice is melting us into God. Your voice is a divine intimacy between the lover and the beloved. Really, the words in your song were just a divine intimacy. The soul talking with the Lord, the soul talking with God, the soul missing God, and having that divine, intimate conversation, really. And this divine, intimate conversation with God, we all have every day. Every day we are in our head, we are always talking to Master. And then at some point, Ishwarji told me, Michael, when you think of me, I will be there. When you think of me, I will be there. These are the words of Ishwar Puri Ji to me. When we were in Bruce, he held both of my hands. He said, Michael, I love you. Whenever you think of me, I will be there. And to think of God, it brings God right there and then. Then he is there, and then he's hearing us. At some point, when we develop more and more in spirituality, we will be able to hear him. We will be able to hear him, and we will be able to have him, just like Ishwar Puri Ji said, that we will have God 24/7. He has the inner master 24/7. When he wakes up in the morning, he asks Baba Sawan Singh, are you there? And yes, Baba Sawan Singh replies, yes, I am here. And this is our fate, this is our destiny, to have the inner master 24/7. This happens whenever he wills. This happens according to the divine plan that he laid in our life. And at some point in the book of love, which we all are, each one of us is an individual book of love, a different book of love. And every day here we open a new page in this divine plan book of love. And one day we're going to open a page where Master will be with us 24/7 in this story, in the story of creation, in the story of duality, in the story of us being separated from the beloved. And now we are yearning, like moth yearns to go to the flame, we are yearning to go back into God. And it's a divine intimacy. And this divine intimacy ultimately will lead to a page where we open that page in our divine book of love. And that page will have Master 24/7. We will be living in this world and having Master. That means we no longer depend on our mind. We no longer depend on help from anybody of this world. God is my only strength. God is my only support. God is the only power in my life. And that's what will happen. This is what will happen, and that will develop surely, step by step. All what we have to do now on this path is keep perseverance. Keep the perseverance. Never let go of the hand of Master. And in the hard times, we go through hard times and good times. We go through sun and we go through darkness. The most important thing is that through the darkness, to keep holding the hand of Master. This is the most important thing, to keep holding the hand of Master and to keep positive. To keep positive is very, very important on this path. Whenever a negative thought comes that this person doesn't like me, this person hates me, or I have a lack, positive affirmation are needed at that point instantly. Positive affirmation. What are the positive affirmation? They can come in beautiful thought that I am beautiful and I stay near beauty, and beauty will always strengthen me. So always stay near beauty. What is beauty? Beauty is God. Stay near beauty, and beauty will strengthen us. Whenever a thought opposite of God comes, then you could always have the affirmations that I love everyone and everyone loves me back. I love everyone and everyone loves me back. God loves me. And if God loves me, then all his creation loves me. I'm running after God, and this whole creation is running after me. Just like running after the sun, our shadow runs after us. In the same way, this is another positive affirmation that I'm running after God, and the whole creation is running after me. I am full of beauty. I am full of bliss. I am connected with the infinite treasures of God. My bag is heavy and full of blessings. I have no lack. I am connected with the treasures of the King of Kings. These positive affirmations are needed when we are scared, when fear creeps into our life, when scarcity creeps up, the thoughts of scarcity, the thoughts of fear creep up, then directly, positive affirmations, of course, comes through Simran and through thinking of Master, through imbibing in his words, but we can also repeat that I am connected with the wealth of God. I will never have any scarcity. My purse is the magical purse of God. My purse is connected to the magical purse of God, and whatever comes out directly is replaced by the Almighty Father. All these positive affirmations we need whenever the other thoughts of the other power creeps into our mind. In that way, we will stay positive. To stay positive, that means to stay positive, that means to stay on the frequency of the Master. To stay on the frequency of the Master, then there is no lack, there is no fear, there is no problems, no worries, and no diseases as we are connected, as we are connected with the eternal abundance. Eternal abundance. Another positive affirmation is that I am abundant. I am abundant because I am connected to abundance. My Father, my Creator, is abundance. If we ever feel sick, then another positive affirmation should come that my Father is only health. My Father is health. Wherever my Father is, wherever Master is, there is only happiness, there is no sickness whatsoever. There's only good feelings. And connect ourselves to the positivity, to the positive health, to the positive wealth, to everything that love has. And that way we will stay in a very positive atmosphere. This is very important to keep positive, to keep our frequency the same as the frequency of Master. And whenever the mind starts to play a trick on us of going into the robbers, what are the two robbers? Thinking of the past and thinking of the future. Thinking of the past brings guilt to us, and thinking of the future brings worry and fear. But we should know that my life is a divine plan. My life is a divine plan. Nothing comes to me uninvited. Nothing comes to us uninvited. Everything comes to us as per the will, as per the will of God, as per the will of Master, as per the will of His divine plan. To know that everything is included in our life, everything has been divinely planned by Master, and nothing really comes outside of Master. One time, there is a poem here that I will read today. And in the poem, it says that a person asked to love God and embrace God and kiss God. And God said, what part? And he said, every part of you, everything. And then God said, well, there might be a blemish on my body. Will you also kiss that? And the lover said, I will try. And he asked, what is the blemish? And God told him, the blemish on my body is everything in this world that we hate, we don't like, that we think is dark, that we think is fearful. The other time and that he meant, you also have to kiss the negative side of me, as God created positive and negative. He created the darkness and he created the light. And what is darkness? It's just less light or an obstruction of light. And God asked the lover that if he wants to be a real lover and he wants to embrace God completely, he has or she has to kiss both sides. Both sides of God have to be embraced. The good, the bad, and the ugly has to be embraced. Then, when we do that, then we become real lovers of the Lord. So um, let me read to you some beautiful poetry from Thomas Aquinas, and we read yesterday. I don't know for people who were not here yesterday, but I spoke about his life. He came from the line of Saint Francis of Assisi. He was like in the monastery, but he became realized, and he wrote beautiful poetry. Another beautiful soul, another divine soul who melted into God and became God. So let me read to you. Ask anything, my Lord said to me, and my mind and heart thought deeply for a second, then replied with just one word, when? God's arm then opened up, and I entered myself. I entered myself when I entered Christ. And having learned compassion, I allowed my soul to stay. Wow, wow. He entered into Christ, he entered into God, and his soul stayed there. That's so beautiful. That is the oneness that will happen to us one day. Whenever he looks at you, God sees nothing in us that he has not given. That's very important. God sees nothing in us that he has not given. That's why Master loved us unconditionally. Everything is empty until he places what he wishes into it. The soul is like an uninhibited world that comes to life only when God lays his hand against us. The delight a child can know tossing a ball into the air, my Lord confessed he experiences whenever he looks at us. Whenever God looks at us, he becomes like a child, so happy tossing a ball. Wow. God sees nothing in us that he has not given. Everything. That's why we can never feel guilty. We can never feel sad about the past or about any karma that we have done, that we thought we have done wrong. Why? Because everything is the divine plan. Everything, there's nothing in us that God has not given or has not caused to happen. That everything in this divine plan, every moment, every second has been written by Lord God. Okay, this one is called the divine intimacy. Divine intimacy. The experience of something out of nothing. Is that not how one might describe magic? You know how magic is? Something comes out of nothing. And out of nothing, this whole creation came. A hat held upside down may appear empty, though at God's command, all life that any planet has ever known could dance around the hat's rim, holding hands. The root that needs to no ground is He. The root that needs no ground is He, and from that root all has come. Creation is God's litter, and all are nursed. Some grow more plump than others indeed. Eternally amazed is the soul before God, watching him expand. Eternally amazed is the soul before God, watching him expand, witnessing God reveal himself to himself. Wow. Witnessing God reveal himself to himself. That divine intimacy I know. He's saying that God revealed himself to him. And that divine intimacy he knows because he became total. God revealed himself to himself. That we are all God, part of God. And God, at any moment when he wishes, when it is his divine will, can reveal himself to us. We all can't wait for that moment. This one is called Capax Universi. Capable of the universe are your arms when they move with love. Wow. Everything is possible in love. Everything is possible in love. If there is any discord between any two initiates or any two people, that means there has been an obstruction of light. There has been an obstruction of love. What can remove that? Listening to the holy song, thinking of Master, praying to Master to remove the darkness, and then love conquers all. So if there is any discord, that means there is a lack of love. There is a lack of love in us. We have to fill ourselves with love. If anything that we don't like is coming towards us, then we should think of it as lack of love that we don't like. If anything comes to us that we don't like, could be a lack of love. We have to fill ourselves with love. Stay near beauty and everything stays beautiful. This power of attention Master gave to us. The power of concentration, the power of attention. Keep our attention on what's beautiful. Because beauty is God, beauty will strengthen us. Never put the attention on the gutter, because then the gutter will be manifested. As our attention creates, our attention is very powerful. When we concentrate on something we fear, then that thing gets manifested. That is why the masters tell us, don't let your eyes see anything that is ungodly. Don't let your ears hear anything that is ungodly. Only speak the words of God. Only speak love. Only speak love. Only concentrate on beauty. Only concentrate on God. And then everything will become beautiful. Everything will become beautiful. So important. And I'm talking to myself because sometimes YouTube or Facebook takes my attention away from God. And I start to look at things from this world. Some negativity from this world. What happens then? Negativity right away seeps into me. And then I start to feel the worry or the fear or the agitation or a little anger. Why did that happen? I allowed my ears to listen to something that is opposite of God. I allowed my eyes to see something that is opposite of God. I got polluted. Now I have to meditate more to clean that pollution. This happens to us every day when we are not careful. That's why Jesus said, only see with those eyes the Master, only hear things that are coming from God, and only speak good things that are coming from the Lord. This is so important to keep ourselves positive, to keep the positive affirmations that God is in charge of my life. I have no fear. You are my protection. You are my support. You are my refuge, and I have no fear. Fearless are the ones that live in Master. Fearless are the ones that live in God. Fearless. Where was I? Uh, Capable of the universe are your arms when they move with love. And I know it is true that your feet are never more alive than when they are in defense of a good cause. I want to fund your efforts. Stay near beauty, for she will always strengthen you. God says He wants to fund our efforts to stay in beauty. Oh, she will bring your mouth close to hers and breathe. inspire you the way light does the fields. Wow. The earth inhales God. Why should we not do the same? Wow. This sacred flame we tend inside needs the chants of every tongue, the communion with all, as capable as God we are. Wow. We can be as capable as God is capable. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else shall be given unto you, rather than showered upon you. For he who overcomes, I shall give powers to rule all of the world. For he who overcomes. For he who overcomes the darkness and fills himself with the light of Master, with the divinity of Master, with the light of Master, everything is given to him. That means he merges with God and becomes God. Does God understand himself? Does God understand himself not in the form of creation? For creation simultaneously exists and does not exist. How could that not be in a mind that is infinite? Thus, God holds no one accountable, especially himself at all. If you had a dream in which someone broke into your house and stole a certain object, would you, upon waking and finding that item, call the constable, the police? Not if you were in your right mind. And whenever God wakes in us, whenever God wakes in us, his / our thinking becomes clear. Nothing is missing. And how could he not forgive then what never really happened? And or what he caused? That, listen, this world is a dream. This world is a dream. All our karma, good and bad, is just part of the illusion, part of the dream. How can God not forgive it? That's why God, the Master, who comes from beyond the dream to wake us, he enters our dream to wake us. He does not look at the dream. All what he wants is to wake us up, take us out of the dream, and he has unconditional love for us. And everything he's saying, he caused. Everything that happened was caused by God. So he forgives everything. Okay, one more point. Could you embrace that? I said to God, let me love you. And he replied, which part? All of you, I said. Dear, God spoke. You are as a mouse wanting to impregnate a tiger who is not even in heat. It is a feat way beyond your courage and strength. You would run from me if I removed my mask. I said to God again, Beloved, I need to love you, every aspect, every pore. And this time, God said, There is a hideous blemish on my body. Though it is such an infinitesimal part of my being, could you kiss that if it was revealed? I will try, Lord, I will try. And then God said, That blemish is all the hatred and the cruelty in this world. All the hatred and all the cruelty in this world. God wants us to kiss that too. He wants us to kiss that too. We have to remember this very important thing. He wants us to embrace everything. He wants us to embrace the darkness. He wants us to embrace the light. He wants us to embrace the people we dislike the most, as to embrace somebody, to love somebody that we dislike the most. That is a bravery. That is a bravery of the soul. So we could introspect ourselves and see who in this creation we dislike the most, and then send them love. Ask God to make you accept them. Ask God to let you embrace them within, to embrace them within. Once we embrace what we don't like the most, once we embrace that and we love that, what happens? Then we see God in that. We see God in that person. And we see it's part of God. And we see the beauty of God in that most ugliest thing. One time, Sant Singh said a story. What a beautiful story. There was a well that had a big, dark devil in it, living in it. And people who wanted to get rid of anyone will ask that person to go into the well and bring some water, and then that devil killed them. One time, a saintly person came to that town, and they didn't know that he was a saintly person, and they said they wanted to get rid of him, so they said, "Go to that well and fetch some water for yourself, and bring us some water." And and he went, and then that devil appeared to him, and when he saw the devil, he saw God in that devil, and he said, "Oh my God, oh my master, wow, you look so ugly today, but I love you. I would take the water from you as prashad." I'm making that up. I don't know what he said, but that's the story. I will take that water from you as prashad. Thank you for appearing to me, my man. And then the big devil, the God in that devil started talking back, and he said, you also see me in this horrible devil?" And the saint said, "Yes." And then the water became prashad, and he brought the water, and everybody was amazed that he was not killed by the devil. Yet the devil now became a good person. He was changed by the saint. Anyway, thank you, Master, for the seva. Thank you for the love, and thank you for keeping us on the track of God, that every day we might get 1 inch closer within to divinity, to totality. Totality is our only goal. And if we have the bull's eye, just like the bull's eye, the target is totality and nothing less, only totality can be accepted, then that has to happen. That has to happen. All what we have to do, keep thinking of Master, keep concentrating on beauty, keep all the thoughts of Master, and slowly weed out everything that takes us away from Master. Weed out everything that takes us away from Master slowly with His help, with His divine grace, and then it will happen fast. It will happen fast by His grace. Once the mirror is polished, then nothing can hold God from us. Nothing. God gives you what is intended to be given to you, what you deserve. When we deserve totality, He will not hold it from us. He will give it to us. He will open the floodgates immediately. Thank you, Master, for the seva. I'm looking forward for the song from Bhavani. She always adds spices to satsang when she sings.
Radha Swami, brothers and sisters, thank you so much, Michael, for your encouraging satsang. You always feed our souls with such love on this path of love. So thank you. And thank you all, Savidas. Thank you, Brother Anup, for playing beautiful Shabbats. And yes, thank you, Ava, for your humility. When you read the schedule, we'd love to have you back. You're such a humble person. So please, we miss you. Thank you, Ava. I've written a poem about the master's loving eyes, right? And I'm trying to make it into tune, so please forgive me if there's any errors. Thank you, Papa Ishwarji, and all the masters for the seva. Forgive me for any mistakes. Oh beloved master, my soul is caught in the rapture of your beauty. In your loving eyes, there is brightness that we cannot comprehend. Oh, beloved Master, I see your love. I see the Creator in your loving eyes. I see your love blossoming in many forms. I see your love, my beloved Master. I see your love flowing through your eyes. I see the ocean of existence in your eyes. I see the formless one, and we fall in love with you. For beauty lies in the beholder's eyes. For I see God in human form, talking through my Guru's loving eyes. Your majestic grace, I see hope, I see strength from my beloved's loving eyes. I am drowning in your eyes of love. The expressions of your eyes represents the truth that lies within my beloved. I see the paradise and my home in your eyes. Oh, my beloved, the perfect one. I see love in your eyes. Thank you, Radhaswami.
Wow, Bhavani sister. May Ishwarji showers oceans and oceans and oceans of love and blessing on you for doing this seva, and may you always sing for us. What a great godly spice, divine spice you add to satsang. Thank you, Master, for Bhavani, and thank you. And now Anup is gonna play our dear sister Tina.
Thank you, brother. I just want to say one thing. Thank you so much. To forgive me if I'm gonna cry. I just want to thank all the Savitas. I want to thank you, Michael G. You know, if I could give all of you guys a virtual hug on Zoom right now, I'm giving you all a virtual hug to say, Radhaswami, I love you guys. And I will never give up on Papa Ishwarji. I was awake from 12 o'clock last night, and I did not sleep because I did not want to forsake Papa Ishwarji in doing the seva, because I love you guys. So whenever I can make it to sing Shabbats, I will attend the satsang. I love all of you, and Radhaswami.
Thank you, sister. We love you also. Wow, such a lot of love today, a lot of love we feel. Thank you, Master, for showering us with so much love. Wow, thank you, Master.
Hi, beautiful holy family. Thank you, dearest beloved Babaji, for another opportunity for this seva. With your divine blessings and blessings of the Sangat and my brothers and sisters on this holy path, I will continue the seva. As always, my reference points are the Japji by Sant Kirpal Singh Ji Maharaj. We will start with the recitation of Mool Mantra, which is the beginning of Japji Sahib, followed by the recitation of stanzas 32, 33, and 34, first in Punjabi and then in English. Before the recitation of the stanzas, I will continue the introduction to Japji. And now the Mool Mantra. Ik Onkar Sat Naam Karta Purakh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murad Ajuni Sahibhang Gur Prasad Jap Aad Sach Jugad Sach Hai Bhi Sach Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. And now the introduction. It is a continuation from last week's topic, which was the possibility of communion of the microcosm with the macrocosm. And now the continuation. These three restraints help in concentration to the highest degree. The first, Simran of the charged words given by the Master, brings back the mind from outside and withdraws the spirit from the body to the seat of the soul in the body. This is first sinking from the circumference of our being to the inner center of our being. This also keeps reminding us of the highest ideal set up before man, which is self-knowledge and God-knowledge. The second process, dhyan, also helps in concentration and fastens the soul inside. The last process, bhajan, or listening to the spiritual music in man, carries the soul to the beyond, to the source from whence the life current or sound principle of the holy Nam or eternal song emanates. Just as in a pitch dark night, when one sees not or knows nothing before or behind, the bark of a distant dog or the far flicker of a candle light helps one onward in his journey, so does the spiritual song and the refulgent light help a probationer soul on the path in its solitary ascent to the true home of the Father. The long process begins with a concentration at the seat of the soul in the body, situated just between and behind the two eyebrows, where mental simran is done in full earnest. This enables the withdrawal of spirit current at present diffused in the body and concentrates in it at the seat of the soul, with the result that confines of the grosser matter of the body and of the outward world are cut off. The spirit, once unfettered and disimprisoned from the finite existence, now gets an ingress into the til, nukta, sweda, or the third eye, and from here proceeds further with the help of a God-man in higher planes within. After passing confidently through the astral planes, one reaches the Dasamdwar with its sacred fount of nectar, the true Amritsar, Mansarovar, or Pragraj in man. The Muslims call it Hauze-Kausar, a bath or baptism. Therein frees the spirit from the sheets of the astral and the causal bodies and the finer matter. This is the real baptism with the holy waters of immortality. The spirit, now left to itself, is fully refulgent with a light brighter than that of several suns. Now cognizant of the true essence, which is none other than that of the Lord Himself, it proceeds further with the help of the Master in His radiant form, until the spirit reaches the pure spiritual regions, the Sachkhand, New Jerusalem, or Maqam-e-Haq, where Satpurush, the Formless One, resides. Therefore, with the help and through the grace of the latter, the spirit is passed on to the Nameless One, stage by stage. This aspect of the ascent of the soul from the material planes to the spiritual material regions, and thence to purely spiritual regions, forms the subject matter of stanza 21 of Japji. Therein, the Master has dealt with the three important stages out of the 5 spiritual stages: Til, the starting point, Dasamdwar, and Sachkhand. The 5 regions are also explained at the end of Japji. The man who has access into Til and bathes in the luster of the luminous astral figure of the Master is called a Sikh, or a disciple of the Master, a devotee. As he progresses upwards, he reaches the Dasamdwar, the third in the stages of development, and becomes a Sadh, a disciplined soul. When he reaches the regions of pure spirit, he is given the epithet of saint or Sant, one who has reached the highest spiritual region of the Nameless One, the unknowable and imperceivable, becomes a Param Sant, the saint of saints. These expressions occur in the text of the sayings of the Masters. These are specific terms with significant connotations and have no reference whatsoever to those engaged in the outer pursuits of forms and formularies, or in the performances of rites and rituals, or observance of fasts and vigils. Guru Nanak was a saint of the highest order, the Param Sant, who reached the region of the Nameless One, as will he evinced from his own words. Fly above the region of truth, of the pure spirit, then reach the stage of the unknowable and the imperceivable. Above this is the abode of the saints, and lowly Nanak dwells there. Without a God-man, the mystery of souls is never revealed. With all that has been said here, or may be said, the mystery of the soul remains a sealed book. No expression can reveal the truth at the back of the creation. The ascent of the soul to the higher regions is impossible unless one is ushered into those planes. Of course, one may be able to withdraw the spirit currents into the eyes from the body through Simran or see some lights at times, but there is nothing in there to take a guide or guide him upwards. Many were held in these elementary stages for ages and ages, and no help came to guide them up. Some have called this stage the be-all and end-all, but they still linger at the outskirts of grosser matter and in the stronghold of the finer matter. It is here that the help of some competent body is needed to extricate the devotees from the iron grip of subtle matter. That somebody should be the man who has gone through the different stages of spiritual development and has made a pilgrimage to the region of pure spirit, Sat Nam, far beyond the hold of the matter. The Master says, "He who has known the Satpurush is the true Master. In his company alone, a Sikh, a devotee, is emancipated. O Nanak, he will see the Lord and sing praises of the Almighty." Gauri Sukhmani Mahalla Panchwa. 3 essentials for the progress of soul to the Lord explained. There are 3 essentials for the progress of the soul to unite with the Lord. These may be summed up as 1. Satguru, or the true Master. 2. Satsangat, or the congregation of the votaries presided over by Master. 3. Sat Nam, or the true Nam. Masters from a divine brotherhood in God. They are the gems of humanity who have completed their evolution and risen into God consciousness. They have achieved complete oneness with the divine being and are overflowing with the holy word or divine life in its fullness. They reincarnate in human form in order to guide the destinies of the child humanity to the goal of life. They form, as it were, the connecting link between man and God. They belong to the order of the great ones who are charged with the duty of watching the human race. They take true seekers after God under their care to hasten their realization at one-ment with the one being. The qualifications of a God-man. A true master cannot be known all at once. He is a God-man. A God-man alone can truly know a God-man. He may be described as one who is brimming over with spirituality far above the life of the senses. He has freed himself from the various sheets of grosser and finer matter and has seen the all-truthful with his eyes within and without. He is competent to unfold the spiritual possibilities lying dormant in man. All are provided with the same stuff inside them, like the stuff of a battery already charged. But he is the one who has connected himself to the greater magnetic battery of the Lord and receives direct messages from him. He is the mouthpiece of the eternal. We, each one of us, has same stuff in us, but our batteries are disconnected. We need reconnection so that we may also serve as live batteries and be able to receive messages of the Lord. We need such a one who is himself connected and who can also connect our batteries with the Lord. He has in him the refulgent light of the infinite and is competent to relight our extinguished lamps. An unlighted lamp is incompetent in light to light other lamps. All spiritually blind, when they come to the feet of a master, he opens their inner eyes, which are latent, and enables them to see the light of God. He opens their inner ears and makes them hear the sweet melody of the divine music of the word or Naam. Be ye perfect as thy Father in heaven is perfect, said Christ. All are destined to be perfect, and in the end, they will attain the state of perfection. Whatever we are now is a result of our past acts and thoughts. Our future is being molded and determined by what we now think and do. But this shaping of our future does not prelude us from receiving help from outside. A fruit tree that ordinarily is left to itself bears fruit in 5 or 6 years. Wood, when treated scientifically with fertilizers, etc., bear forth fruit in abundance and more quickly by 2 or 3 years. Similarly, the unfoldment of the spiritual life is quickened by the help of a master. This help is of immense value. Such outside help quickens the inner possibilities of the soul. It awakens the spiritual life in us and leads us to the highest goal in the end. Scriptures unable to awaken spirituality. This quickening impulse cannot be derived from sacred books. As light comes from light, and so life comes from life. A soul must receive live impulses through the lyrical glances of some master soul. Mere book knowledge or any intellectual development fails to awaken spirituality. Through book learning, the intellect is certainly fed, but the spirit gets no food. This is why each one of us can speak wonderfully of spiritual matters, but the actual life betrays not a speck of it. We may read and read endlessly, and may read on devotedly for months and years, nay, ceaselessly all our lives. But, O Nanak, all this simply feeds and fattens the ego, only and is of no avail. Asa Var Mahalla Pehla. A living spirit can be quickened into life only through the living impulses from a master soul. You may call such a man by any name you like, but such a man is a necessity. Each religion has testified to the need of such higher help. We do not deny the need of help from outside in all our objective pursuits. We usually look to someone who is expert in a given subject. Why should we then be ashamed to seek the help of somebody in the pursuit of what is purely subjective, the spiritual path, and what is hidden from our objective vision and is wholly shrouded in mystery? How grateful we should be if somebody were to lead us into the inner recesses of the subjective world. Whoever has risen to this highest heights of spirituality, above the ken of both gross and subtle matter, can transmit power, and lead us safely across the ocean of elusive matter. Maulana Rumi, a Muslim divine, says, "If you intend going for a pilgrimage to the divine, take with you one who has already pilgrimaged, no matter whether he be a Hindu, a Turk, or an Arab." All around, deterioration is the main feature of our times. Literal words of the scriptures, without the spirit or meaning behind them, have taken the place of living the life with most of us. Immersed in ignorance, some feel that they know everything and offer to take others' burdens on their shoulders. Thus, with the blind leading the blind, both fall into the ditch. The world is full of so-called teachers. Such teachers have steeped the world in ignorance. These creatures of darkness, wise in their own conceit, pretend to give away untold treasures of divinity. They are just like a beggar who wants to make a gift of $1 million. Thus, without the help of one who has truly imbibed the truth beyond, no progress can be made in the way of spirituality. The Master has said, "Rare indeed is the man who knows Godhood. If one is begging from door to door, cursed shall be his life and cursed the order to which he belongs." Bigara War Mahalla Ticha. The Master again says, "Never prostrate thyself at the feet of him who calls himself a spiritual precipitator and goes a-begging. A master earns his own living and shares it with others. O Nanak, only such a one can know the way to the Lord." Sarang War Mahalla Pehla. And now, stanza 32, first in Punjabi and translation in English. Nanak nadri ik to jeebo lakh hoye lakh hove lakh vees, lakh lakh geda aakhiye eke Nanak jagdiis, एक राह पत पवाड़िए चढ़िए होवे 21, सुन गला आकाश की कीटा आइए रीस, नानक नदरी पाइए कूड़ी कूड़े ठीस. Let one tongue grow into 100,000, nay, even 20 times more, and each of them endlessly chant his holy name. In this way lie the steps that lead Godwards, by ascending which one becomes one with him. On hearing of the heavens, even worms aspire to reach them, not knowing that salvation comes only through his grace, and those who can say otherwise are vain babblers and liars. But in communion with Nam is hindered by the earthly desires that pull our hearts and lead us away from the subjective truth to the outside world. How then is one to overcome these desires? Nanak enjoins that the way lies through Simran, or constant remembrance of Lord. Other saints and sages have said the same thing. The subject of Simran has been dealt with in more details in the introduction. There are two powers working in the man, the pranas or the motor currents and the spiritual or sensory currents. Many yogins endeavoring to reach the highest have sought to withdraw both these currents, but the Master, Guru Nanak among them, have taught that it is unnecessary to control the pranas. One may withdraw the sensory currents without touching the pranas through Simran and through focusing one's attention behind the eyes at the seat of the soul. Once one has withdrawn the entire sensory current, the whole body continues to function normally as regards respiration, digestion, and circulation, etc., To this point, the soul may travel further on the spiritual path. This is an easy and natural way. The Master says, O Nanak, learn to withdraw the life current whilst alive. Learn ye to practice such a yoga. Again, learn to die so that you may begin to live. Holy Bible. It is this technique of withdrawal that Nanak is referring to in this stanza, though he does not analyze it in details as he has done this elsewhere in his teachings. He also reiterates that to achieve salvation through Naam needs not only effort but also his grace and will. Stanza 33. Akhan jor chupe na jor, jor na mangan den na jor, jor na jivan maran na jor, jor na raj mile manshor, jor na surti gyan vichar, jor na jukti chute sansar, jis hath jor kare vekhe soi, nanak uttam neech na koi. You have no power to speak or to be silent, no power to ask or to give. You have no power over life or death, no power over wealth or state for which you are ever restless. You have no power over spiritual awakening, no power to know the truth or to achieve your own salvation. Let him who thinks he has the power try. O Nanak, none is high or low, but his will. From here begins the final part of Japji. In this, Nanak, carrying the idea of the necessity of his grace and will for man's salvation, Nanak observes that in other matters as well, in fact, in everything, his will is all in all. And now, the last stanza, 34. Rati rati tithi var pavan pani agni patal, tis which tarti thape rakhi taramsal, tis which jiya jugat ke rang, tiske na anek anant, karmi karmi hove vichar, sacha aap sacha darbar, tithe sohan panch parvan, natri karmi pave nisan, Kach pakaye othe paye, nanak gaye jape jai. And now the translation. Creating the day and night, the months and the seasons, the fire, the wind, the water, and the nether regions, amidst all these, he set up the earth as Dharamkand, or the arena of action, and he peopled it with creatures of many colors and many forms, creatures of whom there is no count. All are judged according to their deeds, for true is the Lord and the immaculate his law. Those accepted to him are honored in his court. It is only through his grace that one may gain that distinction. The imperfect are perfected there. O Nanak, it is there that the mystery is revealed. From here begins the final part of Japji. In it, Nanak gives a rapid survey of the various spiritual realms that the soul has to traverse in its homeward journey. They are 5 in number. Dharam Khand, or the realm of action. Gyan Khand, or the realm of knowledge. Saram Khand, or the realm of ecstasy. Karam Khand, or the realm of grace. And 5th, Sach Khand, or the realm of truth. The first is the realm of dharma, which is the soul must fully realize before it can rise to the next higher spiritual plane above it. This is the stage where the embodied souls must work fully cognizant that it is he who made the world, phenomena with all the immutable laws which bind one and all. The law of cause and effect nobody can escape. What a man sows, he may reap. There is none outside his domain. Men's actions go with them after their death and are weighed in the scales of God's justice. Those found wanting are sent to the judgment according to their actions. The only thing acceptable at his court is communion with and practice of the divine word. Those who adhere to it are honored. Thank you, my dearest soul family. Thank you for all your blessings. As always, I humbly beg for your forgiveness for making so many mistakes in my recitation and pronunciation of the Bani. Please forgive your younger sister for making the mistakes. And with your blessings and blessings of Master Ishwar Puriji, I will continue this seva next week and perform with utmost care and love and devotion to everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, dear sister Tina. That was amazing. We really appreciate the seva, and thank you, Master. So now Anup is gonna play. He's gonna play for us the continuation of the last 2 days video of Master. Now he's gonna start with the questions and answers. Thank you for coming to satsang.
If Rishi is ready.
Dear Master, I miss you a lot and love you a lot. My question is, whenever I miss you or I am in any problem or if I am suffering, do you get to know? You are physically far away but close to my heart. There are so many that you have to look after, but how do you know what is going through everyone's mind?
Interesting question. Why it's interesting for me is because I asked the same question once, long ago. I asked the same question from Great Master. I said, Master, you say that you are inside us, and when we want to ask any question, we are in trouble, we want help, you will help us from inside. Do you have any knowledge outside also that we are doing this thing, or is it all our own internal thing? One master, whose name was Baba Fakir Chand from Hoshiarpur, he made a statement in his satsang. He said, masters know nothing. They are ordinary human beings like us, but they have this gift that they can create their image inside, and the true master is inside us. That is why don't think that the master outside and inside is the same. The master inside, which is part of your own self, is created by your own consciousness, is the true master. The outside is a replica, an outside image of that master. So the outside master acts according to what is happening in the inside master. He gave that example, Fakir Chand gave that example, that masters as physical beings are not all-knowing. That they, so I was very interested in that statement of Baba Fakir Chand, because he was our neighbor when my father was teaching as a professor in Hoshiarpur. We used to meet him frequently. He was a very enlightened person. So at one time I had to ask him the same question, which I had asked Great Master once, about whether the Master in physical body knows everything. And Baba Fakir Chand said, of course, they are not different. But the outside has to behave like an ordinary person, unknowing. Because if he says he knows outside, what will happen? Nobody will go inside. Everybody will run after the outside person. Therefore, it's appropriate for a master to tell, he knows nothing, go inside and find out from your true master inside. So it's very appropriate behavior of a perfect living master to do that. Now, this is what he explained, and I understood it, that the masters want us to meditate and find the truth inside. Otherwise, we are running after illusions. Master's outer form is part of the illusion. When you die, everything dissolves, including the form of the master. But what does not dissolve is the inner form of the master. Therefore, it's a very appropriate thing for a master to say, I don't know what is happening, and even if he knows. Now the question is, if he really knows, then how does he operate? One physical person, if he knows, has got so many initiates, so many disciples. He has initiated each one of them and told them, I am with you. I have manifested myself with you. Any problem you have, you can talk to me. And there are 1,000 people sitting there. And Master is in all 1,000. How can one physical person know what is happening to 1,000 people? I had to find some appropriate language to explain how masters work. In America, in one of my talks, I explained this. And the explanation I gave was taken from the manual for masters. So I just picked up from there and said, the masters use what is called a clone. A clone is a replica of the master. They make a clone and put that clone of themselves in each person they initiate. But they are in constant touch with the clone. They never disconnect with the clone. Clone continuously, all the time, sends messages what is happening inside the disciple. And therefore the physical form of the master at all time know it. But they don't have to use it for interaction with the disciple. The interaction should be ordinary human beings as friends. Supposing we came to know that another human being who is being a friend of ours knows all our thoughts, and sometimes our thoughts are very ugly, you know. In spite of even if we try to think very nice things, once in a while some naughty thoughts creep in. And if we know he's reading my thoughts, we'll hardly have any friendship with that person. So if we have a creepy thought and say, Master, did you see what I thought? He says, what was that? We feel very comfortable. Thank God. So you have to balance all these things. The truth is that the Master in his awareness knows everything. He knows. And he, in his physical form, acts like he's just an ordinary person like us and knows nothing more than what we know. And therefore we can be very free with such a Master as external physical friendship. As external physical friendship, we can be very free. When we go to his form inside, he can be very different. He can show his full knowledge, he can show everything and give all the answers. Inside, he won't say, I don't know what it is. Outside, he will. But this is part of a single plan. It's not different. So once you know what this cloning system is, a master can produce 1,000 million clones and take care of them and be in touch with all of them. If we don't understand how a master can through clones be in touch with all of them, take the digital world and in one little chip you can have a connection continuously working with not millions but billions of points. So it's not very difficult for the consciousness of a master to be in touch with all of them. So in the physical body, in physical relationships, he will pretend he knows as little or as more as you do, as your friend does. And that sustains the friendship at the physical level. This system works beautifully. And sometimes we think that the master may be using a clone, but does not know what's happening. Somebody complains, he says, Master, I had this problem. Oh, let me check with the clone. It's not like that. Then it's not a clone. Then we are separating that clone from the Master. Clone means identical copy. It's an identical copy of the Master. And the awareness of the clone, because clone is inside, physical part of the Master is very far away. Physical Master is so far away, has no time for anybody, and we hardly get to see him for a little while. But the clone is always there. Therefore, the clone acts more aggressively in being our friend. And the Master in the physical form, with his remoteness, acts like ordinary human being. It's a great combination. It's good to know. And then sometimes, if we begin to really suspect, supposing we say, no, Baba Fakir Chand was more right than we are explaining now. He really did not know anything. And masters really don't know anything. And this mind, our doubting mind, which can doubt anything, begins to doubt. Master really doesn't know. It's just a theory that they made up of clone and all that. And suddenly one day he'll spring a surprise by telling you something which you only know. How did Master know that? It is just one little example he will give and put you back on track. No, he knows. But he won't say so because he's a friend of mine. So from time to time, these experiences also take place. So I think it's a good game. To tell you the truth, there is no better game you can play than the game you play with your Master. Don't put the Master on a pedestal. Don't put him high away from yourself. The Master is your friend. Friend here in the physical form and friend inside. And he will share your life like you share with any friend. He will share your joy, your sorrows, your suffering. He'll suffer with you. He'll feel sorry when needs to be sorry. And he'll fly with you. He will dance with you. He will eat with you. It's a very different relationship once you establish the form of the Master inside. And that's the beauty of this Naam Dan by a perfect Master. That's the relationship that's created.
Dear Master, I want to know if my Master leaves his body before I could establish his radiant form, what will happen? Please answer in Hindi or Punjabi.
Question is in English. He's requested an answer in Punjabi or Hindi. So I think I should first translate the question into Punjabi and then answer it. ਇਹ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਜਾਵੇ ਔਰ ਉਹਦਾ ਨੂਰੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਅਜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਕੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ? ਇੰਨਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ। ਕਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸਵਾਲ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਅੱਗੇ ਉਮਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਸਿਆਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਇਹਨੇ ਬਹੁਤੇ ਚਿਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿਣਾ, ਰਹਿਤਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਕਿਸੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੱਕ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ। ਮੇਰੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ 90 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਤੱਕ ਰਹੇ, ਬਹੁਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਚਲੇ ਗਏ। ਅਤੇ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਦੇਖੋ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੇਰੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਉਮਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਭਜਨ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨੂਰੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਅੰਦਰ ਆ ਜਾਏ। ਜੇ ਉਹ ਆ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਰੀਰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਚਲਾ ਗਿਆ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ। ਇਹ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਿੱਤਰਤਾ ਸੀ, ਬਾਹਰ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਅੰਦਰ ਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਤਮ ਹੋਈ, ਔਰ ਅੰਦਰ ਦੀ ਮਿੱਤਰਤਾ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੜਾ ਸਮੂਥ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਬਾਹਰ ਦਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਚਲਾ ਗਿਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਕਰਨ ਜਾਓਗੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਖੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹੇਗਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਸਰੀਰ ਸੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਬਾਹਰ ਖੜਾ। ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਭਜਨ ਕਰਨ ਨਾਲ ਖੜਾ, ਬਾਹਰ ਖੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ। ਇਸ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਚਲਾ ਗਿਆ। ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸੀ। ਸਵਾਲ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਮਰ ਜਾਏ पहले चले जाए, तुसी अजे जिंदा हो, अंदर तुहाडे दर्शन होए नहीं, नूरी स्वरूप आया नहीं, फिर तुसी की करोगे? तड़फ तड़फ के कहोगे गुरु चला गया, मैं कल्ला रह गया। कहते नहीं, ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਮਦਾਨ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਨੂਰੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਸ ਲਈ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਆਏਗਾ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਵਿੱਚ। ਨੂਰੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਉਸ ਲਈ ਅੰਦਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਨੂਰੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿ ਉਸ ਲਈ ਆਇਆ। ਨੂਰੀ ਸਰੂਪ ਤਾਂ ਨਾਮਦਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਕਤ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਅੰਦਰ, ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਤਵੱਜੋ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਏ। ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜੇ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਤਵੱਜੋ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੈ ਉਨਾ ਹੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਖਿੱਚਣ ਦਾ। पर ਜਿਹੜੇ आदमी ने बहुत ही तवज्जो नहीं लगाई, पिंड 'ਚ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, अपने घर 'ਚ ही रहता, कुछ काम ही नहीं करता, वो भगती बड़ी, वो प्यार भगती बड़ी है, नामदान मिलता उन्होंने उस लिए प्रत्यक्ष हो जाता गुरु। कई केस में देखे, अपने गुरु नाल देखे। इस करके यह ना समझो कि गुरु ने उस वेले आना जो तुसी देखोगे। गुरु तो तुहाडे अंदर नूरी स्वरूप उस वेले पा दिंदा जो नाम दिंदा है। तुसी हौली हौली करके जो तुहाडी तवज्जो अंदर जाती है उन्हें देखते हो, और जो देखते भी हो तो कभी आता है कभी जाता है। वो गुरु नहीं आता जाता, गुरु तो उत्थे ही है, थोड़ी तवज्जो नहीं अजे वो उत्ते पूरी तरह कायम हुई है। इस करके तुसी जिसले अपनी तवज्जो पूरी कर लोगे वो आ जाएगा। सो कोई फिक्र ना करो कि जे तुहाडे गुरु की डेथ पहला हो गई, वो पहला चला गया, तुसी ज़्यादा भजन करो वो बाद, ताकि जिन्नी जल्दी हो सके तो नूरी स्वरूप मिल जाए। सो फिक्र की कोई गल नहीं, नूरी स्वरूप ऑलरेडी है उत्ते।
If a satsangi does Naam Simran regularly, but as he grows old and his memory fails him and cannot remember the Simran words, what to do in this case? Can he write the Simran words for him to read and to read the Simran?
The question is, if a satsangi does Naam Simran regularly, but when he gets old, his memory is losing, he can't remember even the words of Simran, then is it appropriate to write the words of Simran and give him to repeat? The answer is yes, no harm. If nowadays we can't remember everything, so we use our iPhones and we record, they tell us. We use paper to write, memorize things which we forget. With heavy pressure of modern civilization, we can't remember everything, so we use every kind of aid to help us remember things by writing it out, by somebody else reminding us. So there's no harm in telling a person, if you have forgotten the Simran. The best thing is, because we give a privacy to the words, we give confidentiality to the words by saying, don't share with somebody. Because by sharing words of Simran, you are losing the objectivity of the words and making it subjective, that you know this word, these are your words. So that is why there is a little restriction imposed on your sharing words. So it is best that the words be shared between initiates. That means one person with Namdan can certainly tell the words to another person with Namdan, if that person is forgetting those words. That's perfectly normal. But it is not necessary. It is normal to do that. But if you have Gur Bhakti, love and devotion for your master, you are beyond words. You don't need them. You don't even need similar. If your Gur Bhakti becomes such that your mind cannot interfere, it's the mind, game with the mind. If the mind is still creating doubt, you have to do more meditation. But if the mind is kept aside and the love from your soul has overridden the mind, and mind cannot interrupt it, no simran is necessary. No words are necessary. And that itself will take you to your true home and nothing is lost. So it is really a path of love and devotion. Further, supposing a person who gets old, he cannot remember the words of Simran, but he can hear the Shabd, he can hear the sound inside, then the sound is good enough also, need not repeat these words. So all these are possibilities, but do not emphasize that the words are going to carry you very far. The words are temporary, but the Simran can be used to create the experience of the sound, And the sound, when sound comes, you can drop the Simran altogether. If somebody can close eyes and hear the sound, Simran becomes unnecessary. Then Simran should only be used when you want to attack something which is negative and is trying to bother you. Then you Simran, it repels the negative entities or powers around you.